Policing the streets has changed a lot since the days of Dixon of Dock Green.
Good evening, all.
But some things remain the same, and local police officers listening to people's concerns is still a priority for neighbourhood teams across the country.
I love it.
And in modern-day Britain, we need them now more than ever.
Police!
In this series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow Northumbria Police,
He's going to be around here somewhere.
one of the largest police forces in the country, serving a diverse population of 1.5 million people.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
Whether it's tackling troublemakers,
I've had problems with you, enough.
cracking down on antisocial behaviour crippling our communities,
You're locked up for drunk and disorderly.
or waging war on illegal drugs,
Another room full of plants.
they keep our streets safe by fighting the crimes that affect us most, bringing criminals to justice at every opportunity. Today on Neighbourhood Blues, the Neighbourhood team discover a cannabis farm with a street value of over £250,000.
Another room full of plants.
The pensioner left so devastated by a burglary, he's afraid to leave the house.
I'm now not happy being here.
Yeah.
I've been here 40 years.
And after a racist attack,
Get out of Hendon before I set your house on fire.
cops race to get its victims to safety.
We need to move, Dave. We need to shift.
Now more than ever, we rely on neighbourhood police officers to watch over our streets and keep our family and friends safe. And at a time of increased racial tensions, some people are more vulnerable than others.
Northumbria police take a hard line against racism and try to stamp it out whenever it occurs. Sunderland, on the northeast coast, is one of the force's biggest cities, and like many areas in Britain, has seen a rise in reports of racially aggravated hate crime. Over 95% of the population are white, but there are large Indian and Bangladeshi communities practicing a range of religions and faiths. PC's Mick Page and Dave Bew police an area to the east of the city. Once a thriving dockyard, it now suffers high unemployment, and cheap housing has attracted foreign workers in search of low-paid jobs. Keeping the peace on one street in particular requires all their skills as neighbourhood cops.
It is quite a hotbed. We've got people of various nationalities living on the street. It's right next to the city centre as well, just on the outskirts. And yeah, it is becoming like a bit of a hotbed for the racial tension.
Today, Mick and Dave are investigating an incident at a house they believe to be lived in by mainly Chinese and Romanian men.
This is the window that got smashed out last night. Happened, we think, just after 1 o'clock. It made no mighty bang when that went in.
The house is a 6-bedroom bedsit with a high turnover of residents who come and go as they search for work.
It's just an absolute mess.
It's a double glazed bay window, so a lot of glass, but it's both panes have gone, so you can see the mess, there's fragments all over the place. So if somebody was asleep in here, they'd have been showered in glass, but not good at all. Well, there's nothing around there, there's no brick or nothing, there's no...
You can just imagine sitting here having a tea, can't you? Well, at that time of the morning, maybe it's not, but...
Well, that's what I was saying, you get your fright of your life when that window goes out, there'd been a double glazed one.
If they've been at work on the night and they're coming in and just having a bite to eat before they go to bed or a cup of tea or something, you know, it's only 1 o'clock in the morning, you could still be up. Could have caused all sorts of injury.
It's pure luck that this vicious attack didn't cause serious injury. Now Mick and Dave search outside for clues as to who may have done this and why. In the front garden, Dave's found something.
You got something?
half a brick or half a Charlie's they're called up here.
The brick must have bounced off the window and lay undiscovered in the long grass until now.
It's got a note taped to it.
The note uses extreme and racist language and says that if the foreign occupants don't leave the house, it will be firebombed.
It's not too pleasant what's on there, some of the words, so we'll stick that in a bag and we'll have that in a bit as evidence. You don't know, there might be something on the sticky tape, or there may well be something on the envelope that looks like it's an envelope written on.
We've got like special techniques that they can get stuff off paper and whatnot, so it's obviously worth a try. It's been here overnight, obviously, but it's been dry, so
yeah.
Who knows?
Unfortunately, this isn't the first time the address has been targeted. The threat and the shocking way it's been delivered appears to relate to an allegation made several months ago. A local white woman says she was seriously assaulted inside the property by 6 foreign nationals from the Middle East. The Crown Prosecution Service decided there was insufficient evidence to proceed with the case. Those accused moved out of the area months ago, but the address is still being targeted.
Yes, this is the address where the incident occurred, but it's got nothing to do with the guys that are now living here, who are working. And, you know, I saw them outside there, talking to them, the young lads, you know, in a foreign country, and just shell-shocked. And, you know, if we can help them in any way, we will, you know. I understand the tensions in the area, I do. We all do, you know, but this isn't the way to go on. I mean, just look, it's just a mess. And it's got nothing to do with these lads. That's it's crackers.
Tensions are on a knife edge. While the team go door to door to speak to any potential witnesses, Mick speaks to the current Romanian residents who are terrified they're being victimised for something that has nothing to do with them.
It's nothing about you. It's this address.
We should put something on the window
To tell them. Well,
tell them we live Chinese and Romanians.
what? I told them I've been up and down. I keep telling people, but sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't.
None of the neighbours saw who threw the brick, but one witness may have seen everything. A wireless CCTV camera recently set up by the council. Find out later if the attack has been recorded and can help catch a violent racist before someone gets hurt.
Once upon a time, the only way for dealers to get their hands on cannabis was to smuggle it into the country. These days, organised gangs grow their own supply right here in the UK, and demand is fueling a trade in human trafficking and slavery.
From the outside, a cannabis farm looks like any other house. There could be one on your road. But inside, criminals are growing and harvesting a cash crop worth billions of pounds, and people are fed up with them.
I think people who have cannabis farms should, as part of their punishment, should get involved in supporting people who've really suffered the impacts of taking drugs.
It just messes with your head. And I'm sure that's most of the mental health issues caused.
In Tyne and Wear, top cops are cracking down, not just to get illegal drugs off the street, but also because rewiring the electricity supply to grow large amounts of cannabis is extremely dangerous.
When that farm's in there, there's a risk of fire, and that fire can, spread very quickly and attack adjoining houses.
But police raids on cannabis farms rarely catch those in charge because the criminals have found a new way to run them without being caught.
More and more, we're becoming aware that people are being trafficked into the country to run these farms.
Neighbourhood cops are integral in the ongoing mission to shut down cannabis farms, often acting on tip-offs from the public and gathering vital intelligence after the farms have been raided. On the north side of Sunderland and not far from their football club's Stadium of Light, PC's Mick Raystrick and Andy Hutchinson have been called to a property above a takeaway which has just been raided by the drug squad. A Vietnamese man has been arrested after running away from the property and is already in custody. The restaurant had no idea there was a cannabis farm above them. Mick and the Neighbourhood team now need to find out just how big this operation is.
There's lots of dust and stuff inside.
The air is thick with cannabis pollen, so everyone has to wear masks. As the team make their way into the house, they begin to get a sense that this is no small-time operation. This once residential home is unrecognisable. Walls have been ripped through and bedrooms used as storage facilities to aid in this huge criminal enterprise.
This is obviously a little box room, as you can see, where they've got all the stock and boxes here, like grown agents and stuff.
There's plenty of it here. We'll go upstairs now and we'll see what else is there.
It doesn't take long for the team to find the heart of the operation.
Just be aware you don't touch anything for forensics. And the plants, they're an excellent size. They're near to be cropped. In fact, they should be getting cropped very soon, or would be getting cropped very soon.
It's one of the biggest hauls they've ever seen. Believe it or not, this was once the master bedroom. Now the team suspect the street value of what's growing in here is worth more than the value of the whole property. And they've only just scratched the surface.
Another room full of similar sized plants. Quite a professional setup. It's got a thermostat dangling so they can see from here what the temperature is. All the lights are hanging from the ceiling, from wires. It'll take time to set it up.
Typical of farms like this, the fuse box has been converted to steal electricity through a complicated and dangerous wiring system.
This is the electricity that powers all the stuff that's going on, the lights, the fans, the extractor fans and stuff like that. This is something that they would have created themselves and wired it up themselves. It doesn't comply with any sort of health and safety. It's obviously being cut in with the electricity supply from somewhere. It's probably been illegally extracted from somebody else, probably the business below or from the shop or even from a lamppost outside in the street.
These dodgy electrics are powering no less than 8 growing rooms across 3 floors. Someone is making a fortune from this operation, but it's not the person who was arrested earlier.
Cables on the left-hand side as well.
Yeah.
Upstairs, a different tale unfolds.
And this is where he would have been living.
As the team discover how the Vietnamese man was living.
You can see the conditions. They cook off a little gas stove on the floor. We're in the process of making something, actually looking at the fresh meat and stuff on there. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. This is not fit for human purpose at all, like.
You know, it's not the person that we've arrested at this scene that's profiteering from this. It'll be somebody else who's far higher up the criminal chain. This will be something like an organised crime group that runs this premises, as well as probably several others. And the people in here, you know, you're probably looking at maybe something like a slavery type aspect, where they come in here, they're being forced to come here, and they're left here. They're sometimes locked in the premises and only allowed out when the person who runs it all lets them out.
The living conditions of the worker combined with the scale of the operation is why police are keen to crack down on cannabis farms and its links with human trafficking.
The poor individuals having to live in here, this is what he's been left in. He's effectively left to fend for himself, and It's not like he's living a life of luxury, despite the fact there's probably many thousands of pounds worth of cannabis being grown here. He'll not actually reap any of those benefits. Probably for the best part of 24 hours a day for like 7 days a week. This is what he's left with.
Somebody having a £5 bag or a £10 bag and just having the odd smoke, they'll see that as harmless. And to me it's harmful because people see it as a soft drug, but if you look at that farm there, somebody's suffering because of it. So somebody sitting in their kitchen now having a spliff doesn't see that and won't understand, you know, the harm it actually does to people and the business that it is.
Mick and the team have secured the premises and will return tomorrow to find out just how much this criminal business was worth. The docks to the east of Sunderland were once home to the city's first ever shipyard over 600 years ago. PCSO's Craig McArdle and Jill McNamara are proud of their neighbourhood and know that keeping it safe means being out on patrol, come rain or shine.
Another day in paradise.
Yes, it's nice when it's a nice day like today, nice, bright and sunny.
Lovely today. Don't mind being out on foot when it's like this.
All right.
There's quite a few people around as well, so we can chat too.
Oh, you want to come? Oh, we'll go and speak to them, eh?
Neighbourhood policing isn't like other roles on the force. Being a friendly face and talking to the public is how these officers hear about what's bothering people and help solve the issues which affect them most.
Likes the bee. Give him another bee.
Oh, stupid.
Craig and Jill's patrol is about helping anyone who's been affected by crime, and that often means checking up on victims. This afternoon, they're visiting a pensioner whose house was burgled over 6 months ago.
Just go in. I'm sorry to have bothered you, really. Yeah?
No, it's fine.
You're not bothering us.
This is where he came in here.
You came in the window?
window.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's climbed in the top window?
Yes,
the top one,
he
right.
topped it. Yes, there's only that.
Yeah.
The man is a historian and ex-local councillor. He had cash stolen during the burglary and is still struggling with the psychological effects of the break-in.
You go through your life and never experience what I experienced. Now, some people have suffered much worse, of course I have. But I've never got over the fact that someone has been in here that shouldn't have been.
And that's a hard thing to get over.
It is.
Very hard, and it just takes time.
It takes time, yes.
Left shaken and afraid, the man is also worried about leaving his house in case it's broken into while he's out.
It does make me feel uneasy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bother you by coming here.
No, anytime.
I was settling down a little bit, but I'm no longer settling down.
Right.
I'm now not happy being here.
Yeah.
And I've been here 40 years.
Yeah.
It's
Just to reassure you,
yes.
we are always about.
Yes,
We're always
I know.
about.
I often see.
You know me. You know me quite well.
I know I can.
And you rest assured that we'll do our patrols.
Yes.
We'll pass you
yes.
as much as we possibly
Yes.
can.
Yes.
And you ever need to speak to
Yes.
us, you just ring us. Ring us on the 101. In
Yes.
fact, I'll give you me details. But never
Thank you
think
for it.
that you're bothering us.
You know.
Can I use Can I just stand on a bit news?
Whatever you like.
I don't want to stand on the wood.
Thankfully,
Not
Craig
at the
and Jill are
80-year-old
experts
Craig.
in crime prevention and can offer the man more than just sympathy.
Oh yeah, we need this. The latch up here is
Right.
a bit damaged.
Right.
Yeah, I'm quite concerned about this window. Like
Right. So I'll get it.
It needs something.
I'll get it looked
Yeah.
at officially then.
Yeah.
Houses with no security are 5 times more likely to be broken into.
And the security light, that works?
Yes, that works. Yes.
If the rain was to get into that, that might bust the bulb because it's got
right.
no glass on the front of it. Yeah.
Right. See, I never noticed that.
Making small, cost-effective improvements can make a huge difference.
Rather than just using that one lock,
Yes,
you want one of them.
Do business. Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But that's a good way of securing that door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes. Yes, I must admit I never realised that.
Okay, right. We're happy with our little shopping list.
Indeed.
Basically. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you a little bit happier?
I am. I'm more than happy with the visit. You know. I don't like bothering you people.
But it's
because
fine,
you've
no,
got
that's what we're
nobody.
here for, and that's what
I know,
we're
but
paid for.
with all the things that are happening, I mean, this is not to me important enough, but
well,
I
to
suppose
us,
it is. Yes.
you are
I suppose
important.
you do the
Yeah.
you know.
Because this is our job, this is our
Yes.
bread and
Oh,
butter.
indeed.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Yes.
what the neighbourhood team's
Yes.
all
Oh,
about.
yes.
To make
Yes.
sure people like
People-
yourself
yes.
are
Yes.
looked after, you know.
With a shopping list for the handyman, Craig hopes small home improvements will make significant psychological ones, and we'll check on him in a few days. A few streets away, Mick and Dave are investigating a racist hate crime where a brick has been thrown through the window of a house full of foreign workers.
Could have caused all sorts of injury.
5 months ago, a local white woman accused 6 foreign nationals of a serious assault inside the house. After a lengthy police investigation, the Crown Prosecution Service decided there was insufficient evidence to proceed with the case. The 6 men accused moved out of the area months ago. But now the house and its innocent occupants has become a target for racial hatred. The team are now logging into a wireless CCTV camera to see if it holds any clues as to who threw the brick through the window.
It's like an extra set of eyes, isn't it, really, that are constantly... Obviously, they only get deployed in certain areas. Some of them might be where there's a particular problem, whether it's disorder, car thefts or something like this, where there's a little bit tension in the area. It's absolutely ideal.
Hopefully when Craigie works his magic, we'll see what happened in the early hours of this morning.
My main concern is it just someone acting randomly, or we're going to find that there's a bit of a group outside, which we probably, when we go back and obviously tell the sergeant and obviously report back, be a bit more concerned if it was a group as opposed to just one person. Are you in, are you?
Right, it's in. It's looking...
Oh, you're in.
Oh, so it's pointing in the right place, yeah? Yeah, it's confirmed it's in the right place. It's exactly where we want it to be. It hasn't been moved in the meantime. So that's spot on.
Let's see if it shows anything.
There you go.
The racist attack has been caught on camera. The suspect has been careful to conceal their identity, but can be seen approaching the house, raising their arm to throw the brick and running away. The residents then come out to see what's happened. It appears as if the attacker acted alone.
We've got a lone person, dark clothing, hoodie, hood up, coming from the other side of the street towards the address, and he runs off down the street, and then the occupants of the address all come out of the house. So there's the footage anyway. Identify the offender, possibly not, but that might give us an idea of where he's travelled from, where he's travelled to, and we can maybe check other cameras in the area and maybe get a better identification. It gives us something to start with, you know, so a good start.
With little more they can do at the scene, it's time to head back to base to update the boss, Sergeant Tom Connor.
Hello, Tom. That's the offending brick.
I don't want to touch it. No, I haven't done it. That's what was lying in the front garden. You best get out of Hendon before I set fire. I set your house on fire. Get back to your own country.
The chilling and shocking message has put the team on high alert.
We'll get it back, we'll speak to Salvo.
Right, no bother,
So
that's
thank you
fine.
very much.
Cheers.
The threat has to be taken seriously, and while Sergeant Tom reports back to Force Command, a scene of crimes officer arrives to examine the evidence.
If it's been bitten off.
If it's been bitten, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Right, I'm just going to take the whole thing because we're going to look to send it for DNA.
Oh, excellent.
Anything else?
There will be a 3-week wait for the forensic results. In the meantime, Sergeant Tom has received worrying intelligence from Police Command indicating that what was written in the note may be more than an empty threat.
Intelligence getting developed that the address might get attacked later on in the evening. Our Chief Inspector's on about serving occupants of the address what Osmond warning notices.
Osmond warnings are issued when police believe there's a significant threat to someone's life. Mick and Dave know issuing these notices to a house full of foreign workers, most of whom don't speak English, will be difficult, to say the least. But the intelligence suggests they're in serious danger.
The main thing is to looking at getting them out the address.
Yes, just
right.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The team have to mobilise quickly. That means organising patrols, contacting the residents, and getting them out of the house.
We can't guarantee that something else might not happen tonight, and the potential that somebody may get hurt. So we're trying to get them out of the house moved. Things could go very wrong very quickly, and we don't want it to escalate. Brick through the window is one thing, you know, any sort of fire or accelerant or anything like that doesn't bear thinking about.
One thing's for sure, no one will be leaving on time tonight.
Dave and I have both had to sort out our childcare and all the rest of it, but that's just the way it goes. I'd hate to go off on time, come back in the morning to find somebody really seriously injured, or it's just not worth it.
It's 5 o'clock, and they only have a few hours to warn the residents and get them away from the house. The clock is ticking. Still to come, while Mick and Dave race to clear the house, a passerby raises the stakes.
Right, we need to move, Dave.
2 miles away in the north of Sunderland, Mick, Andy and the Neighbourhood team are back at the cannabis farm to start the clear-up operation of this major drugs haul.
Hi-ho!
The property, above an innocent takeaway, was completely ripped apart to install the growing equipment. Now the teams who have been deployed throughout the flat have to be extremely careful.
We've been given a large room at the, I believe it's at the front of the property. As I say, it's full up with cannabis plants. The only problem is when we do go in, you've got hazards straight away, which you've got to be careful of. So health and safety obviously is a big thing. Lots of cables with the lighting and stuff, and wires and stuff like that, you know. Then have to try and work around that.
The first job is to get a handle on exactly how many plants there are. In order to get to the plants, the low-hanging lighting equipment must be carefully removed. Slowly, the team are getting a sense of what the house looked like before the gang moved in. Before it was a skunk nursery, this room was a child's nursery.
Like it previously was a nursery, as in for a child. I'm just making a bit of headroom, then I'm going to start seasoning some plants.
Now the real work of bagging up the plants begins. Most of the plants will be destroyed, but a few will be kept as evidence. Everything is meticulously recorded.
Helen is logging everything. She's the loggers for the job, and Amy's sealing all the bags before they leave the premises. Everything that's been seized has to be sealed, so for integrity purposes, so nobody puts anything else in the bag, nobody else tampers with it. Certain bags will be sent off to forensics for testing, and then we'll get a good estimate of what the actual farm's worth.
A recent report suggests there could be up to 500,000 farms like this hidden on suburban streets across Britain. The illegal cannabis industry is now worth over £1 billion to gangs with links to fraud, terrorism and human trafficking. They use slaves to do the growing and pay their rent months in advance, so innocent landlords would have no idea what's going on until the gangs leave or the property is raided. Insurance companies who are increasingly paying out for properties wrecked by drug gangs are advising landlords to be vigilant against criminals scoping out potential farms. They tell them to be wary of tenants who take particular interest in the electricity supply, and to be extra careful about locations where through traffic is minimal, like cul-de-sacs. With the plants backed up and the electricity switched off, the team can rip apart this DIY dope farm, and in this demolition, everything must go.
It's prevention as well as obviously seizing as evidence and stuff as well, but what you don't want is leave too much where somebody else can come back in and then obviously restart the cannabis farm. So like electrical circuits that we've just seen take off the wall, they go. Transformers, as you can see on the floor there, we'll take them. Obviously all the plants go. We'll just try and strip as much as we can.
The team have also found a bag of dried cannabis ready to hit the streets, and the smell is overpowering.
Oh, God. Oh, certainly cannabis.
We've done loads of cannabis farms like this. It's quite clever. It's how they set it up. They'll be making hundreds of thousands of pounds for farms like this. Organised crime gangs, they're the guys that are making big money out of it. So when we get a farm of this size, it's great when you can get in there and the police end up seizing all the plants, you know, and taking the equipment of it. It's disrupting them, and it's also hitting them in the pocket as well, where it's going to hurt them. The problem we face as police is there's farms like this across the area, and it's just a case, again, that we rely on the public's intelligence to lead us to things like this.
They could find no evidence the Vietnamese man arrested at the scene was trafficked. He was released, but is still under investigation. Investigations into the gang running the farm are ongoing, but so far, no arrests have been made. In total, 293 adult plants and 317 seedlings were seized, with an estimated street value of £300,000, more than 3 times the value of the property itself. On the east side of Sunderland, Mick and Dave are in a race against time to warn a house of foreign workers that their home is at risk of being firebombed in a race-hate attack. But at the house, no one's answering the door. Mick calls the one resident who speaks English.
Are you at the home address? Ah, right. Do you know if anyone's in the house at the minute? Because we ideally would like to speak to you. Face to face. Nobody's. Oh, you've already spoken to your friends, and nobody's going to stay there. No. Okay, that's brilliant. Thanks very much. I might get back to you in a little bit, but I do appreciate it. Thank you, mate. Thanks. Bye bye.
It could be Dave's lucky day. The man tells him he's let everyone in the house know that they're to stay away from the property.
Yeah, spoke to me contact who lives here. He's passed the message on to his flatmates. all of them are happy to move out for the night, which is good for them and us.
But there's a problem. It soon becomes clear not everyone has been warned about the possible attack.
This young lad approached the house, sort of loitered around outside. Went out to make sure that he was all right. Turns out he might be living here. He's saying he's moved in last night. He's from East Timor. There's another two that might be living in there from East Timor, as well as the Chinese and the Romanians.
New housemates are arriving thick and fast, and none of them have a key to get into the house.
Do you live here?
You don't speak English.
Can you ask him if he lives?
He lives here.
Oh God! Right, can you come down here with me, please?
Mick was worried this would happen. Without knowing who and how many people are living here, it's impossible to warn them of the threat to firebomb the house.
We just literally do not know how many people live here, where they're from, or who they are. It's just getting a bit silly now, to be honest.
There is some good news. Mick now has a key, but will he find more people in the house?
Speak to me, colleague. Thanks, Mick. Yeah. Thank you. Nothing to worry about. That was the guy who called the job in last night. So he's back now. So we're getting them. We're getting there. There's three of how many we don't know, but I'll just help Dave searching the rest of the house.
They estimate there are still 6 people who they haven't been able to find and warn about the possible attack.
Hello?
Right? You alright? Yeah. Did you hear us knocking? Sorry? Knocking on the window? You alright?
Yeah. How many people in this room?
There's 3.
There's 3 just in this room. Thank you. Mochu mesh? It's the one word of Romanian that I know. Now that we're in the property, there's 6 bedrooms.
6, yeah.
6 bedrooms. We've only managed to get into one,
which has
got 3 beds in. Dave's done a quick head count, and there's 11, do you think?
10, possibly 11.
At least 10, possibly 11 people. It's snowballing a little bit.
It's turning into a very long day. Finally, their English-speaking contact arrives.
Oh, hello, sir. How are you? Right, it's all gone very silly.
He's not the landlord, but he does seem to be in charge of organising the occupants and has some very good news for Mick. The rest of the housemates are working at a restaurant in town and are waiting for him there.
I think we might have a plan. The plan being, obviously, we're not sure exactly how many people are in the house. There seems to be a bit of a conflict in information, so what we're going to do is there seems to be a link with a restaurant in the town. So we're going to take who we've got. 2 cops are going to remain front and back to secure the property so nothing happens whilst we're gone. We're going to go to the restaurant, we're going to try and bottom out exactly who lives here, speak with them all, advise them of the intelligence we have, and then our advice to them would be that you go somewhere else. If they then, after that advice, they want to come back here, and that's their own decision. I cannot force them not to. I can suggest that they don't, but ultimately it comes down to them.
As they're about to leave, a passerby makes inflammatory comments about the police's protection of the residents.
Job well done. What do you mean?
It's a stark reminder of the tension surrounding the property.
It's got nothing to do with these, mate.
And that the threat of an attack is still very real.
Right, we need to move, Dave. Dave, we need to shift.
At a restaurant in town, Mick and Dave finally make contact with the remaining residents.
Thank you for your help.
We will organise that.
Thank you for your help.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye now. we've done as much as we can. No one should be going back to the home address, to that old address. We've got police front and back, try and keep it secure. It's as much as you can do at this moment in time.
All the residents have now been warned and have found alternative accommodation. And with police regularly patrolling the streets, all they can do now is wait. The next day, and there hasn't been an attack overnight.
Satisfied nobody's got hurt and the house is still in one piece. So I think it's as good a job as we could have done, bearing in mind who's involved and the raised tensions and all the potential. I think we've done all right so far, so quite happy.
It's been a busy 24 hours for Mick and the team. The house will be kept off limits indefinitely, so the residents will have to find somewhere else to live for now. The Neighbourhood team know they'll have to work hard to keep the peace over the coming weeks and months. But this incident, at least, can be considered a job well done.
Things will get back to normal, hopefully, for the local residents, which is what we want, because people just want to live in peace, don't they? Most of us. So yeah, that's where we're at.
The residents were found alternative accommodation and the property remains off limits indefinitely. The forensic tests on the brick came back inconclusive, and so far no arrests have been made for the attack. In Sunderland, Craig McArdle is back to see a burglary victim after the pensioner was left shaken by a recent break-in.
Hello. Hello.
The last time he was here, Craig recommended several cost-effective improvements to make the man's home more secure.
So this is where I pointed out that we wanted something done with the windows.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So
you've
that's
had
all been done.
The back window was unsecure and therefore a potential access point.
Yeah. I'm quite concerned about this window, like.
Right.
Now locks for less than a £5 have been put on every window in the house.
So you've got these kind of things
Yes.
on all of the windows.
Yes.
And you can use and open
Can
as.
use it,
Yeah.
yes, indeed.
Excellent. Excellent. So
I'm more than happy with that.
right. I'll just give it a little test. See
Yes.
if it's on there. So obviously we can't take that. That window
Nope.
can't be opened now
Nope.
at all unless you've got the key.
Yes.
So that's ideal. That.
Yes, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
So
Great.
I'm more than happy with that.
Next, the man's back door. Craig recommended deadlocks, which, unbeknownst to the pensioner, he already had and just had to buy new universal keys.
Then, until you pointed out, I didn't realise that there were these extra.
Yeah, the extra locks on there.
And now there's keys there
Right. So
that I didn't realise.
so the lock.
Outside, the man once had a broken security light, but now the 86-year-old has gone all out and installed a CCTV camera. But with his house now far more secure, is the pensioner feeling safer and happier?
I'm very happy with what has been done. The windows, the doors, and that door locked so that it is pretty well perfect, and I feel much comfortabler now than. Well, you don't realise until
Until it's
something
point.
happens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then.
Just
Yeah.
Thank you
Brilliant.
very much.
Thanks very much then.
Yes, grand. Thank you.
Yeah.
Craig's been incredible, but the community police are a wonderful acquisition to, the security of the citizens. No question about that.
I'm happy. I think more than happy. Hopefully, he does go about his business in a normal way, which is good for me. It makes me feel a lot better, and it brings a nice happy ending to it all. And hopefully, he never suffers like this again.
We've seen the challenges the police face when irrational hate overtakes reason. So these days, our neighbourhood teams are more valuable than ever. By being seen to help every single member of the communities they serve, irrespective of their colour or their creed, they serve as a shining example for everyone else to follow.
Policing the streets has changed a lot since the days of Dixon of Dock Green. But some things remain the same, and local police officers listening to people's concerns is still a priority for neighbourhood teams across the country.
I love it.
And in modern-day Britain, we need them now more than ever.
Police!
In this series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow Northumbria Police,
He's going to be around here somewhere.
one of the largest police forces in the country, serving a diverse population of 1.5 million people.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Whether it's tackling troublemakers,
I've had problems with you, enough.
cracking down on antisocial behaviour crippling our communities,
You're locked up for drunk and disorderly.
or waging war on illegal drugs,
Another room full of plants.
they keep our streets safe by fighting the crimes that affect us most, bringing criminals to justice at every opportunity. On today's Neighbourhood Blues, the team clean up on crime in a rundown part of town.
People are not taking care of their property, as you can see, because it's in such a poor state. It's vulnerable to crime.
Whoa! A suspected arson attack in Sunderland puts the public in danger.
It's only dead quiet down here, isn't it?
Oh, lads, you all right?
And neighbourhood officers deal with one of the most shocking cases of bullying they've ever come across.
We'll speak to the kids, we'll speak to the parents, and if it continues from there, I will start to arrest people.
Discovering your child is being bullied is something every parent dreads. Most incidents of bullying can be sorted out by schools and parents, but in some more serious cases, neighbourhood policing teams have to be called in to help.
The town of Blythe lies on the North Sea coast, 13 miles northeast of Newcastle. Formerly a centre for shipbuilding and coal mining, it still has a busy port and is home to many commuters who work in the nearby cities. Blythe has seen a recent rise in bullying, and the neighbourhood team has been regularly called in to intervene. Leading their fight against the bullies is local lad PC Stu Thompson.
Bullying's a big problem at the moment. We want children to come and speak to us. We want them to tell us their problems because it can have lasting damage. Education's a big thing. It's not just educating the children, it's educating their parents and telling the difference between right and wrong. I think it's a big thing for us to tell them that we're there as an extra support to them.
Today, Stu has received a call from a mum on his patch whose plea for help is particularly shocking. The woman lives with her two disabled sons, Zach and Josh, who are being bullied so badly they're scared to leave the house.
Out in the front of the park of where I live, they get extremely bullied. They've got no way of life. They can't go out and be free. They can't go and play. They're stuck in the house because they're fearful that as soon as they step outside, that something's going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, they're correct. I just don't know what to do no more. It's continuing, and it's been continuing for years upon years upon years.
Her 9-year-old son Zach, who, due to a birth defect, had to have both legs amputated below the knee before he turned 6, has been particularly targeted by the bullies.
Just like being saying nasty words. It's like I don't want to go out and do anything because it's each time I'm out there, they're always in the park, and I just want to play in the park, and they're always bullies and they won't let us play.
One incident involving Zach left Sam so outraged and upset, she decided to finally report the bullying to the police. Stu and his colleague Steve West are on their way to visit her to find out more about what's happened.
He's disabled, he's got false legs which aid him to walk, he also uses a wheelchair. He's 9 years old. We're going to go around there, offer some safeguarding, make sure that they're fine, see what we can put in place. I believe the offenders for this are 9, 10 years old, so something that they see as a joke has serious consequences for this young lad. Hello Samantha, I'm Stu, I spoke to you on the phone.
Hi, how are
This
you
is
doing?
Steve West as well. Sorry, just quickly come and have a chat with you. Can you just tell us what's been going on with regards to Zach?
Yeah. He's had his prosthetic legs taken away from him and they've been thrown over the field. There's a fence there.
The big metal fence that's at the back, yes, they've thrown it over there.
They've thrown them over
That's
there,
shocking.
they've taken his legs off and they've been digging in the sand with the...
In the park?
Yep, they've been throwing them about. Some of the kids held him down. They put sand in his mouth. They spat on him. They call him a spacker. That was one of the worst incidents.
Your child goes out in the park, he wants to have fun, he wants to play. Is it a specific group that are targeting him? Is it the same group?
It can be the same group of children, but then others will join in.
Yeah.
And it is sad to see when you see the kids that are bullying him, they're from his school. Or
So
they're
they,
from around the area.
so they know him.
Yeah, so they know him, they know his history, and that's the bit that really cheeses me off.
The bullying of Zach is shocking and sickening, but Stu knows he needs to take a sensitive approach if he wants to put an end to it.
Zach, are you enjoying school at the moment?
Not that much.
Right, why aren't you enjoying school? Is that because of the problems that are happening at home?
Yeah.
Are they giving you a hard time? Right. Do you know that, Zach? I'm here to help you, help your mum out as well. All right? And you've got nothing to be embarrassed about. You've got nothing to be worried about. All right? We'll get there together. Is that all right?
As important as tracking down the bullies is making Zach and his mum feel safe and secure and reassured that the problem will be taken care of.
What we're going to do now, we'll speak to the kids, we'll speak to the parents, and if it continues from there, then if need be, I will start to arrest people, I will bring them in. Whatever has been going on, it stops now. I don't want your sons having any issues. All right? Okay?
Stop. It's been going on too
It will
too
stop.
long.
It will.
We'll go and sort that out. Go and pay them a visit.
Stu and Steve have a drive around the estate, and their investigations point them in the direction of a lad who lives a couple of streets away from Zach. So they decide to pay him a visit.
Hello, mate, all right? Are they in, are they? Can I just come in?
They talk to the lad's mum, who's upstairs.
I'll tell you what's been going on, right? There's a young lad called Zach who lives in... Might go to school with... He's in a wheelchair, got prosthetic legs. The mum's at the end of a tether and she's called us, right? What they've been doing is they've been taking these prosthetic legs off him and throwing them over a fence. I'm not taking the mick. This lad has been through a hell of a lot. They've been playing with his legs in the park.
The boy's mum can't believe what her
Number
son has
16.
been up to
Yeah.
and
Right.
tells Stu
Cheers.
where to find him.
Right, okay. What we're going to do is we're going to try and get a hold of this lad. I want it sorted out today. I don't want it to escalate and make the problems worse around the area where I cover. So I'm going to try and find the young boy in question. I want to educate these kids and explain to them at the end of the day, we're not going to tolerate this type of bullying. And that's very extreme as to what they've been doing. This poor lad just wants to play, and what they're doing is affecting his way of life.
Stu's getting ever closer to finally putting a stop to this shocking case of bullying. Join us later as he tracks down one of the bullies. Sunderland, on the banks of the River Wear, is Northumbria Police's second biggest city and home to around 300,000 people. The city has a history of glassmaking and shipbuilding, though now it specialises in manufacturing and IT. Community Support Officer Deborah Chater's beat covers Sunderland's city centre and inner suburbs. She's patrolled these streets for more than 13 years.
You come to work, you work in an office, you know what you're going to do every day, but when you come and do this job, or you're a cop, it could be anything. You could walk into a total life-changing job. You really don't know what's going to be next. So, or you could have a really quiet night where you're talking little old ladies and things like that, but that's what's good about the job. It's just different every night, and that's what I love about it.
Once the sun's gone down, Deborah is joined by fellow PCSO Mick Casey to patrol the city centre. And they soon come across a familiar face.
Are you're all right? Yeah. Can you actually stand at the moment, or can you show me?
Let's have a look.
Because I don't want you to cave your face in again, that's all.
Right.
Oh,
he's
dear.
all right, man, he's all right.
And how much more cider have you got in your bag? I'm not going to take it off you, I'm just having a little look. Oh, there's a fair bit left in there, isn't there? Are you going to go home soon?
Try and head yourself back to Salvation
Yeah, try and
Army
go
before
soon,
we
because
come
you don't
back.
want to end up in a state where you're getting took home again. Or falling over and hurting yourself. Right, we'll probably see you tomorrow anyway.
Thank you.
All right. You see the amount of times we find him and he's just completely fell forward and smashed his face in, but every 2 days, or given himself a really bad head injury and he's away at the hospital for a few days again, where he's okay, sorts himself out a little bit and then he's back in the same state. But it's one of them things.
He doesn't seem too bad there. We'll head down to the Norfolk Hotel. We'll come back and see and make sure I see what he's like, and I'll try and maybe get him back to the Salvation Army.
As soon as they've said farewell, Mick and Deborah get an urgent call. There are reports of a serious fire on a street just around the corner.
Yeah, 9024, we'll just...
The fire has started inside a van, but nearby cars and houses are at risk of going up as well. Mick and Deborah are first on scene, and it's up to them to manage the situation. First off, they need to keep the area clear. Their concern is that the fire has been started deliberately, suggesting there might be an arsonist on the loose. There doesn't seem to be anyone in or near the van, but they can't take the risk of getting too close.
I only live there.
With the surrounding area clear, Mick and Deborah try to find out if anyone's seen how the fire started.
Oh, well, I spoke to the people in the car who originally rang. They literally, I think, have turned up when there's just been a few flames. There's been no one in the area, nobody's seen.
Whoa!
It's normally dead quiet down here, isn't it?
As soon as obviously the fire service have got it out and they know it's safe, they're going to get one of their managers to come and have a look and see if it's actually been a malicious ignition. Yeah, and then we'll just see where we'll go from there, basically. We'll just have to wait until they get that put out and then it's made safe and we can go and have a look. We'll do a little bit door to door and see if anyone's seen anything.
Once the fire is out, Mick checks to make sure local residents haven't been too badly affected.
Oh, lads! You alright? Yeah, are you sure? No bother. What to do, just keep your windows shut and that. Because it's still quite smoky out there, alright? Yeah, I know, it was quite... Yeah, go ahead.
The fire hasn't harmed anyone, and outside, there's more good news.
We've spoke to the fire service, they've had a look at the van and they seem to think it's just an electrical fire, so there's been no malicious ignition or anything, but we'll still make a few inquiries regardless.
Fires like this are unusual, but Mick and Deborah know full well that anything can happen on a night patrol. And before they clock off, they decide to check to see if the man who they met earlier has taken their advice, though it seems that he hasn't.
It's going to take you a long time to get down home like that, isn't it? Yes. So how about we stand you up? Yes.
The man lives in a hostel nearby But for his own safety and to save the efforts of other emergency services, he's going to get a lift home in a patrol car.
Hello? You can't get home on your bum. It's going to take you hours, isn't it? Yeah?
He just literally lives 200 yards down there, but it'll take us half the shift to get him back down. So we'll just get him dropped off in the car and I'll get the staff at the Salvation Army to come back out and get him taken in.
Right, watch your head. Right, swing your legs in.
This isn't standard practice, but it's the best way of managing the situation.
Didn't take long, did it? 20 minutes ago he was alright, but obviously he's in a right state now.
If we hadn't have found him there, someone would have rang it in, you would have had an ambulance getting tied up with him, potentially another couple of cops. We know where he lives. I've organised
2 minutes to get him
the
home.
staff from Salvation Army to get him out.
It's not far away, but it can take him hours. If he's going at that speed on his backside, it could take him hours to get home sometimes. So the easiest option is just taking him home for his own safety, really.
Neighbourhood officers Stu Thompson and Steve West have been called by a mother whose 9-year-old disabled son is being bullied.
He's been held down in the park before, he's been spat on, forced sand in his mouth, he's been called a spacker. It really is horrible.
They believe that a 10-year-old who lives nearby has been
He
involved.
doesn't know
And they've
where you
already
live.
spoken
What they've
to
been
his
doing
mum.
is they've been taking these prosthetic legs off him and throwing them over a fence. I'm not taking the mick. Right, okay.
But as the boy wasn't at home, Stu has gone out looking for him. And it doesn't take long to track him down.
Come here. Right, can we go back to your house and we'll speak to your parents? We'll speak to your mum. Yeah, if you come back round to his house, mate, I've located him. Just taking him back now.
Now he's found one of the alleged bullies, Stu wants to get to the bottom of what's happening.
Do you know a young Zach that goes to your school? He's in a wheelchair, got prosthetic legs. Now, I've heard, and I've heard this of several people, that when you've seen him in the park, you've gotten his prosthetic legs and you've thrown them over a fence. You're 10 years old, it stops now, and you start to learn.
Just talk to him now, hopefully I think we're going to take him round, he's hopefully get him to apologise to the lad. But we've asked him anyway, hopefully he'll come down.
We'll go around, you can apologise for whatever's gone on or clarify things, but come with me and we'll get it sorted.
Owen.
Zach's problems aren't all down to this lad by any means, but Stu's hoping that starting with him will be the first step in sorting things out.
I'll quick chat with you, Samantha, that's all right. I've got in the back of the van with us, I've been round to speak to his mother with regard to what's going on. He wants to come in and just to apologise for anything that's been going on. Are you quite happy for that? Yeah. For him to come in here and just have a chat, we'll just stay nice and calm with it, so it's fine, okay?
Yep, that's fine. You alright, love?
Sorry. Obviously, this is Zach. You go to school with him, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? This is his mum, Samantha. She wants you all to play in the park. She does not want any problems, right? I tell you what's going to happen now, right? If there's any problems or concerns, right, she'll be ringing me. And if your name's responsible again in there, I'll be coming knocking on your door. And it stops now. Do you understand that? Yeah. It stops. I appreciate you coming here, you've apologised. And I know it's not just you. But Zach wants to play. Okay?
Can we shake hands and say it's going to be it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Very nice to
Appreciate
in the
it.
park from now
Thank
on.
you.
All right?
It may seem like a small step, but it's a big deal for Zach and his family.
That meant a lot. To be fair, that meant a lot for him to come round, apologise, shake hands with me, shake hands with Zach, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy with that outcome.
I think it's a positive result for what we're looking for. At the end of the day, I stated that I want to educate children, make them aware. I think with that child going around apologising, realising that his actions were wrong, that's a good indicator. Both mothers are fully on board and they're quite supportive of the police. I think from the result that she got there, she wasn't expecting that. And to be fair, I wasn't quite sure what the outcome was going to be, but I'm more than happy with that.
Because of what Zach has been through, Stu has decided to invite him and his family to Blythe Police Station for a special visit.
The meeting today is just to offer support to Zach and his family. I feel as if they've been pushed from pillar to post and they haven't had that support. I'm going to bring him into the police station, let him come in here, speak to the other police officers, let him try on a bit of the uniform that we have got here, and hopefully just put him at ease.
Look at that!
Make him relax and have fun, that's the important bit. Right, don't hit anyone and don't hit your brother, okay?
Yeah,
all right? You want some cakes now? I think Zach has been staying in. He's since the bully, he's led a bit of a sheltered life. I'm hoping now, from the reassurance and the support that we've given him, that he can go out, he can have fun again and attend his local park. I think it sends the right message to the community that we're not going to put up with that sort of behaviour. We've spoke to the victim, we've invited Zach down, we've showed support to him. The residents have seen us doing extra patrols in the area, and we've also spoke to the offender and their family and made them aware of what they've been doing wrong, which they've gone, they've apologised, and hopefully that'll put a stop to it, and it sends out a big message that to other children that it's not acceptable.
Today's just the start though. Only time will tell if Zach's bullying will stop for good. Still to come, a hunt for a bail jumper.
And he's failed to go to court, so the magistrate's have issued a warrant to make sure he gets in front of the next available court.
Officers deal with a teenager who's been left high and dry.
Hey, try not to spit, alright? Because you've hit 2 people now.
And we find out what's been happening with Zach.
Even if anyone bullies us, it's not going to stop us from playing out here.
When people break the law and don't turn up for court, it slows down the judicial process and wastes taxpayers' money. Neighbourhood teams with their links to communities are best placed to track down wanted people who've missed their date with the magistrate.
PC Mick Page is part of the Neighbourhood team in Hendon in East Sunderland.
Been in the police 9 years, just over 9 years now. Joined the police when I left the Royal Air Force. I really enjoyed my time in the RAF, but I wanted to come back home. It's very fluid, the neighbourhood role. We are here to help. We're not always around just to lock people up or prosecute them. You know, we are here to help and be a part of the community as well as policing it. Hendon's the east end of Sunderland. It's very industrial. Unemployment's quite high. I'm from a similar place myself. That helps me do my role because I know what it's like to be born and raised in this sort of environment. I thoroughly enjoy coming to work. I like getting out and about and speaking to people and just trying to help them as best I can. I get a lot of enjoyment from it, a lot of job satisfaction from it.
Today, Mick and his colleague Dave Bew are on their way to arrest a man who's got a warrant out on him.
Somebody shown as outstanding, failed to appear at court. It's an original offence of drunk and disorderly. And he's obviously been arrested for, dealt with, and got a court date. He's failed to go to court on that date, so the magistrates have issued a warrant. So we've got a couple of addresses to check, and we'll try and find him, and make sure he gets in front of the next available court.
Because neighbourhood teams know local areas and local people, they usually serve warrants. Though there doesn't appear to be anyone at home today.
Big, isn't that?
But just as they're about to call it a day, a man comes out of the house opposite and approaches Mick.
Dave? Is this your house, mate?
Aye.
Do you want to, well, I'll just explain it to you, mate.
It's the man they're looking for.
Do you want to pop in for a minute?
They're not used to people surrendering so easily, so Mick and Dave want to know why the man has given himself up, despite failing to appear in court.
How did you forget?
I didn't forget my mum's been rushed into hospital. She was in there till this afternoon.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, mate.
So that's why I haven't, and that's why I've been on the phone to solicitor. I've got his number and that's it, and I was going to...
I believe you, mate. No, I do. I believe you.
The man had missed his court appearance as his mother had been taken into hospital. But despite the difficult circumstances, Mick and Dave still have to take him in.
You'll understand from where we're coming from. It's part of our task to, Sorry, mate, that's probably a bad time for you, but...
Oh, mate, I knew, but I did get on the phone to the solicitor yesterday and explain it.
Could they not get into court, to tell them for that?
They said it couldn't be listed yesterday because I'd already issued a warrant.
Oh, before he's got right.
Mick and Dave have arrested hundreds of people in their combined 25 years of service and heard even more excuses. But they can't help feeling sympathy for this man.
He's been fine with us and plenty of opportunity not to make himself available, but he came and spoke to us, and we'll get him sorted. And hopefully, once it's all done and dusted, he can, like I say, draw a line under it, clean slate and all that. Just try and get on with things.
Even though the arrested man's got a legitimate reason for having missed his court date and is highly likely to turn up to a rescheduled date, he's still going to be locked up tonight.
You all right? Yeah.
We've still got executed. We can't sort of say, well, I'll tell you what, we'll forget about it and make sure you go to court tomorrow. We're there, we'll have him. We're instructed by the court to bring him before the next available one. So we have to, unfortunately. So he spend the night at Shields, and then he'll be going to court at Shields in the morning.
It turns out the man is a former soldier, and he's given some information about a scheme which helps ex-military personnel assimilate back into society.
Have a read of the Project Nova form and decide whether you want to be referred out. Take some contact details off you. As my colleague says, it's worth getting in touch with them to help people get work, just basically help them with housing and stuff like that.
Once the man's been booked in, Mick and Dave can continue their shift, though it's one arrest they aren't over the moon about making.
It's unfortunate. He's obviously had some personal issues the last couple of days, but he missed his court date, and we've said before we're duty bound to get a hold of him. Been dealt with there, has been processed, he'll be going to court in the morning. When he's getting booked in, he mentioned he was ex-military. It's one of the questions that the custody sergeants ask, and there's referrals. We'll have a Project Nova with some partner agencies that can assist ex-military people with the sort of resettling in back into civilian life. I'm ex-military myself. It can be quite difficult when you spend a certain amount of time in a certain environment to come back and try and readjust. It can be quite difficult. Some people cope more than others, and it's good to know that there's help out there for people if they need it.
The man wasn't charged for absconding bail, but when he did go to court, he was found guilty of drunk and disorderly behaviour and fined £105. The police fight a constant battle against underage drinking, cracking down on shops and pubs who sell booze to youngsters.
How old are you, Zon?
17.
17.
Antisocial behaviour and alcohol often go hand in hand, and it's the public and overstretched emergency services who have to deal with the aftermath. Neighbourhood teams regularly patrol town centres on weekend nights on the hunt for antisocial behaviour. PC's Scott Legg and Darren Fisher are out on patrol in Blythe when they're alerted to a body lying on some grass outside a pub.
Is any of you with him before you all disappear? You're not in any trouble? I just want to know who he is and how he's got here.
No idea.
The youth stinks of booze, has cuts on his hands and face, and is barely responding to Darren.
I believe we just come across a male who's lay on the grass. He's got a cut to his head. I think he's extremely intoxicated. An ambulance has been called by a female who has sort of come across him, but he's extremely drunk. He is breathing, and we're speaking to him now. Did you call an ambulance?
No, I think it was the lady that was just been talking.
All right. Yeah, I've been advised that an ambulance has been called. Obviously on patrol, came around the corner, noticed a male covered in a jacket. We've asked the female who seemed to have found him, and says he's extremely intoxicated. We've stopped, had a look, he is breathing, conscious. He's had a chat with my colleague.
How much you had to drink tonight?
Ambulance has been called. He's obviously been drinking, he's extremely intoxicated, and the injuries that he's got look like he's had a fall. Nobody appears to be with him.
It's late on a Friday night and the ambulance service is extremely busy. So the control centre calls Scott to find out the state of the drunk lad.
He's not rousing very well, he's got a head injury. He's got there's blood on his head, blood on his hands. No, he's like comatose, if you like, he's out of it. But he is breathing, but he's not really talking, he's not responding to that. He's about 17.
The lad was apparently with a group of youths, but they've all scarpered. A passing Good Samaritan then stopped to help him.
She's said she's seen him on the floor. She's speaking to the kids that were around him. Nobody's given any details. She's noticed that he's got sort of blood on his head and on his hands. She's asking if anybody's been with him, anybody drinking. All the kids have just moved back, get out of the way, don't speak. And all his friends, his so-called friends, have left him on his own with strangers now. You know, luckily we're driving up this way, and this Good Samaritan here, who's a health practitioner, she's sort of put him in a prone position, looked after him, tried to comfort him, found out his name, and passed all these details onto the ambulance. So thank God for her,
With the ambulance service at full stretch, a volunteer Red Cross team has arrived.
Do you want to wake up, mate? Tell us what you're doing there.
But there's not much they can do given his current state.
We'll get on the trolley bit and we'll assess further on there. Okay, sit him. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, look. There we go. Right, I'll grab his legs.
As they lift the youth up, he decides to clear his throat.
Hey!
I'm happy.
Right, no you're not. You got one new there, didn't you?
Sorry.
Hey, head back. You can go over Newman. I got it on the trolley. Head back. Please, a moment.
It's alright, mate.
Got a head injury, buddy, alright? All your mates have left you. Stop spitting on people, Harry.
I'm sorry.
I know you are, but try not to spit, alright? Because you've hit 2 people now.
The youth will be assessed, then taken to A&E. Hopefully he'll wake up tomorrow with nothing more than a hangover and a few cuts and bruises. Though if he'd been left on his own, the outcome could have been a lot worse.
He's obviously been plied with some drink. He's not taken to it well, and he clearly wasn't being looked after by his so-called mates. Ambulance turned up after a further call we made to them. Turned up, and they're going to be taken into the local hospital. Good Samaritan didn't want to hang around. She's a nurse, just finished a long sort of 12-hour shift, so now she's off home for a well-deserved cup of tea. We thanked her a lot and appreciate her help.
If an area is run down, it's more than likely that it will have a high crime rate. Litter, graffiti, abandoned houses and broken windows increase crime levels, and more importantly, fear of crime. In Blythe, mostly a low crime area, one rundown part of town has seen a spike in break-ins. To tackle this, the neighbourhood policing team has responded to the public's concerns with a 2-day anti-burglary initiative.
Right, morning everybody. Thank you very much for coming along to help with the operation today in Blythe.
Sergeant Jill Hall is in charge of this weekend's initiative, and it's all hands on deck.
The initiative's taking place in Coop and Key. It's been identified as a particularly deprived area within Northumberland where there's a disproportionately high level of burglary dwelling offences. We've had 18 burglaries in Disraeli Street and 12 in Gladstone Street. They're 2 of the top 6 streets within our area, which is why we need to try and tackle the problem.
The team, consisting of PCs, community support officers and police cadets, are going to be looking for any problems in the area which could be linked to crime.
If there's any issues as you're walking around in the lanes where there's litter, any sort of graffiti, any issues where, fences and gates are knocked down, walls are knocked down and there's furniture everywhere, we still need to be reporting them as well. All right?
In addition to talking to people, The neighbourhood teams will be giving all the local residents a kit to uniquely identify their property.
We're marking anything that's of any value, so TVs, iPods, bikes, garden equipment, any expensive jewellery, anything like that can also be marked. Anyone got any questions? No?
The 20-strong team is hoping to visit more than 200 properties over the weekend to help tackle the burglary problem. This is Jill's speciality as a former CID officer on Northumbria Police's Central Burglary Team.
I know a lot about this area because I have been working in the burglary team. A lot of them are very, very low level, what I would probably class as being quite poor burglaries. You know, you might get people doing it on their own doorstep. There's been quite a bit of that in this area. It absolutely is right to say by improving the area and improving the place where these people live will definitely bring down crime.
During the initiative, the neighbourhood teams are hoping to talk to as many local people as possible. Community support officers Nicola Raisbeck and Barry Elliott are visiting a pensioner who's lived on this street for more than 50 years.
You're living here on your own, aren't you?
All on my own, I've got nobody.
You're all on your own. You don't have a great deal of support from anybody?
Nobody. I've only got one son, but he lives in Surrey.
All right, okay. And what do you think could be done to improve the area in the future?
Get rid of all the rubbish. Get rid of all these young lads and
look at the rubbish in the area.
No.
Okay, no problem.
Clean up the streets. Look at that.
The litter out the front here?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The pensioner is right to be concerned. Several houses nearby are being used as makeshift rubbish tips.
So this is an example of just a dumping ground that everybody's using. We'll be looking to take action with the private landlord who's got this property. This is just constant. It's already been cleared and it's just built up again and again and again. You know, there's mattresses, there's empty bottles, fencing, all sorts of rubbish here which we need to remove because it just looks absolutely dreadful.
Poorer areas tend to have higher levels of littering and fly tipping and corresponding higher rates of crime.
The issues we've got here is people are not taking care of their property, as you can see, and all of this brings down the area and we end up in a situation where this area is targeted for burglaries because of the poor state of the area. If you improve the area, then you're improving everything around it, which would improve the crime in the area. But because it's in such a poor state, it's vulnerable to crime.
Nicola and Barry have moved on to the second part of the initiative at the Woman's House.
We need to start marking all the valuable property that you've got in the house. So that's anything that you think, if a burglar came in, they might want. So start with your TV and things like that.
Well, I've got a TV here, just all my nice ornaments.
But we can do ornaments as well. That's not a problem.
Nicola and Barry make sure everything's marked with the DNA liquid, which is a unique code linked to this particular house, meaning everything that's marked can easily be traced.
Because okay, so we've done everything in the sitting room that you pointed out. We've done your telly upstairs. Anything else? I mean, if there was any questions or you wanted to come back round, you could just get in touch with us.
Just around the corner, Jill's been told about another disgusting dumping ground behind a house.
This is another example of real state within the street. Rubbish and furniture thrown everywhere. This is a housing association premises. It's vacant currently. And again, we'll be taking action to get this cleared and get this moved as soon as we can. I mean, it's a health hazard as well. You know, there's rotten food, it could attract vermin, all sorts of issues around here. There's bits of half-eaten fruit, you know, beneath my feet, chip packets. It's just filthy. It's bringing down this area.
Outside, one local resident has a bone to pick with PC Steve West. He's forgotten his birthday.
Forgot my birthday, didn't you? Yesterday. Aye, 81 yesterday.
Aye, yeah, you look great.
Come here, Pat, I'll give you something for your birthday. Come here.
That's better than what I got off the wife.
I've had her for 57 years. I've never seen as many policemen in my life.
You fibber.
I thought he had retired.
You fibber.
I thought he had retired anyway.
Right, that's it, boy.
Hey, you've had a shave and all.
These days are great because, as you can see, there's a cast of thousands out a day, and you've just spoken to Joe, who I've known for years, character from the estate, and people want to see that. They want to see Bobby's on the beat, and you know, these two streets sadly have up the trend and are sort of on the high end of burglary dwellings. So what we're doing is positive. The resident, we'll get the feedback from the residents. That's what they want to see. We're giving them crime prevention advice, crime prevention equipment if deemed necessary. So it's all positive. It's a no-brainer.
Joe's had a good day, and so have the neighbourhood policing team. They've spoken to more than 100 residents and done their bit to make a start on improving the area.
Yeah, the day's been absolutely fantastic. We've met with residents within the area in the two streets affected, listened to what they want, what their needs are, and how we can make it better for them. It's been a fantastic day. Everybody's enjoyed it, and I think the residents are really, really thrilled that we're trying to make a difference to bring down burglary.
And it wasn't just the weekend that was a success. 3 months on, and the number of burglaries on the two streets targeted by the initiative has fallen.
Oh, you already started, have you?
Yeah.
Remember Zach? This 9-year-old double amputee was suffering at the hands of local bullies.
Zach wasn't safe going outside by himself because of the bullying and the way the kids went on. They'd trip him up. They'd just call him all sorts of nasty names.
Then, following a phone call from Zach's mum Sam, neighbourhood officers Stu Thompson and Steve West stepped in to sort the problem out.
We'll speak to the kids, we'll speak to the parents, and if it continues from there, then if need be, I will start to arrest people.
I started explaining about the bullying and about Zach's disabilities, and then it all went on from there. He was sickened, and he was just like, I'm not having that. Would you mind if I made an appointment to come and see you? I think he was here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. As soon as he left, he was only gone half hour, and then he's back at my door saying that he had one of the children involved in the back of the van, and I was like, oh wow, that's really quick.
Stu made one of the bullies apologise to Zach that day.
I think they've had the fear of God put into them because the way that Stu went on, he went on a mission as soon as he left here. It did spread like wildfire, and like, don't touch or say anything or do anything that you shouldn't to these kids because they are now involved with the police.
Since then, Stu has been regularly checking in with Sam to find out what's been happening.
He's just been absolutely amazing all the way through. He kept ringing with updates saying this has been done, we haven't forgotten you, don't worry. I've got his contact details, so if anything does happen again, he can just come back round. He's doing more patrols of the area, and we've actually seen him recently as well. He's just a really nice person, and he's out for the community, and he's out for the kids, and he's out to try and keep everybody safe and get everybody together. So I really do like Stu. He's a really, really nice man.
Stu and Steve's actions have made a real difference to Sam and Zach's lives.
I'm feeling more positive knowing that if something does go wrong like that again, I know that I can just ring Stu. Stu's just said, please, just ring me if you need to, and we'll come out and we'll get it sorted. Don't leave it to how it's got. Now that I've seen how quickly he sprung into action and got it sorted, to compare to the way we were living to now, it's 100 times better. It's so much better. I'll clean all this bit. Sick, a good old scrub.
Most importantly, Zach is now able to go out and play, and one of his new playmates is the lad Stu talked to, who used to bully him, but is now his friend.
When I go outside, it's not as scary for us because when he's around, he only says hi to us, and his friends are with him, and he tells tells them again to stay away from us.
Everything's taken like a bit of a U-turn, so he feels a bit safer. Yeah, I feel a bit safer with him being out here, but I'll be nosing when I get back in just to make sure he's alright. So yeah, I'm happy that he's happy. That's all that matters. As long as he's happy, I'm happy.
Great to see Zach out enjoying himself again, and it shows what a difference good neighbourhood policing can make to people's lives. See you next time.
Policing the streets has changed a lot since the days of Dixon of Dock Green.
Good evening, all.
But some things remain the same, and local police officers listening to people's concerns is still a priority for neighbourhood teams across the country.
I love it.
And in modern-day Britain, we need them now more than ever.
Police!
In this series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow Northumbria Police.
He's going to be around here somewhere.
One of the largest police forces in the country, serving a diverse population of 1.5 million people.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Whether it's tackling troublemakers,
I've had problems with you, enough.
cracking down on antisocial behaviour crippling our communities,
You're locked up for drunk and disorderly.
or waging war on illegal drugs.
Another room full of plants.
They keep our streets safe by fighting the crimes that affect us most, bringing criminals to justice at every opportunity. On today's Neighbourhood Blues, it's crunch time for a young teen as the police work hard to change his antisocial ways.
We need to knock this on the head, don't we? You getting into bother.
Underage drinkers run for the hills.
I'm now taking hold of your arm because I believe you're going to try and run.
And PCSOs come across a mobile eyesore that's distressing residents.
This is fly tipping at its best, you know, you'll be prosecuted for the fly tipping land.
Large crowds of youths can appear intimidating even if they don't mean to be. So it's down to the neighbourhood teams to ensure that the youngsters in their area can still have a good time without appearing like hooligans to everyone else.
During light evenings, the coastal city of Sunderland is a magnet for young people. The police keep a close eye on them, as they know bored youngsters can easily get themselves into trouble.
Language. If you don't want us to search us all and take all your drink off you, I suggest you haven't got any drink. Right, come here then. I just don't want you drinking there, that's all.
Handing out the timely advice tonight is PC Chris Pennant, who's on patrol with PCSOs Deborah Chater and Chris Lawrence.
What are you up to?
What's going on?
Stay out of bother, eh?
Right.
Recently, groups of youths have been causing problems on the metro system, making life hell for hundreds of commuters. Now the team are called to a fight at one of the stations.
Yeah, at the minute we're just going down to Millfield Metro Station. We've got reports of youths fighting. They said there's a group of around 20 there. We don't really know much else apart from that at the moment. So we're just going to go down and see what's happening.
When the police show up, kids can scatter fast, so PCSO Chris is dropped off early to cut off any escape routes.
He's going to go over that side, just in case anybody runs across the lines to try and get away this way. So we're going to see if we can get some of them stopped at this side and take the details to see what's been happening.
True to form, when Chris jumps out, the kids scarper.
Why is everybody tatting off? Yeah. What are you running for?
Just, we got frightened.
Got frightened about what?
Police.
So what's been happening then? Why is he running away?
Because there was a fight, yeah.
There's a fight. Who? With who?
Just two girls from...
Two girls. But if you haven't been doing anything, there's no point in running, is there?
No.
Because you just look guilty when you start running, don't you?
Although Chris has several kids stopped, it appears many more have scattered, including the fighting girls.
There's a lot of them got on the train. About 15 got on the train and left that lot there.
Well, the cameras have been watching you. There's about 20 on the platform. When there's about 20 kids on the platform, it can look quite intimidating for people that's using the metro. Okay?
Things seem calm for now. Then a youth yells obscenities from the opposite platform.
Shut up!
What did you just say? What did you just say there? What did you just say there? What? Get what out?
The boy thinks he has got away with his rude comments, but Chris won't put up with it.
Him? Is it? We'll go and see him.
Unluckily for the lad, PCSO Chris knows where he lives.
Ollies, move on, please. They've all been all right apart from him on the bike. You know where he lives, do you? I will go and have a word with his parents. Then. Basically, when we've attended, there's been a number of kids took off from us. A few have managed to stop, but obviously one that we know of very well is known to us, and he's decided to let his mouth go, shouting and swearing over the lines.
With fewer than 100 neighbourhood officers to cover the Sunderland area, the teams are constantly on the go. And before Chris can visit the boy's parents across the Weir, there's another disturbance on the metro.
Yeah, these kids at the Stadium of Light metro station. It looks like they're actually at the back of Tesco's.
Once again, the team drop Chris off early. But as they head to the front of the station, they see an unbelievable sight.
She's just having a wee.
A young girl is urinating behind the bins.
Right, you get in the car.
Right.
Because you've just had a wee behind them bins. How old are you? 13. 13, get in the car now.
She isn't willing to hang around to deal with the consequences and escapes onto the metro. It seems the team just aren't fast enough tonight.
Yeah, the lad there, he's the cleaner in there. He just says about 8 youths just jump back on the metro going the other way to South Hilton. So they're just darting backwards and forwards, just causing mayhem, really. There's a young lass there, I think she was only about 13. She was urinating in the street up there. We've tried to stop her and she's just legged it.
I'm not sure, I'll have a look at the log.
Basically, it's like a game of cat and mouse with them, man. You know, they're just kids and they just want to chase.
It's frustrating for the neighbourhood team. In order to keep the peace in the city centre, it's important to make sure the kids start to act with some respect. Chris is determined to deal with the earlier issues at the station and goes back to speak to the parents of the boy who shouted abuse at him across the platform.
Afternoon, you all right?
At the lad's home, only his sister is in.
He's been letting his mouth go up the metro station. He's been with a load of kids. He's shouted over the lines, and he's just going to keep getting locked up if he doesn't start winding his neck in. So we need to have a sit down with either mum, dad, or both. All right? Can you let them know? Lovely. Thank you very much.
The neighbourhood teams are used to dealing with youths on the verge of going down the wrong path in life, and in many cases, an early intervention can steer them back onto the right track.
People shout and swear to us all the time. It's nothing, but 6 o'clock in the afternoon when you've got members of the public just waiting to go home after work, it's not on. And it's definitely not on from a 15-year-old.
For this troublesome kid, Chris hopes a strong word with his parents will be enough to change his disrespectful behaviour. On the north bank of Sunderland's River Weir is the suburb of Southwick. It's one of the most deprived of the city's council wards and also suffers from antisocial youths. One person who knows that all too well is long-term resident John, who's been harassed by 2 13-year-olds.
Family moved into Thompson Road in 1986, so I'm like known to the area for 30 odd years, and I've had no problems with local kids till these individuals. They were hanging around my parents' house, and I told them basically to clear off. And then I said, well, why are you not at school? And I got a mouthful of abuse and told us he's been kicked out of school. He's seen us about and just started giving us abuse and challenging us to a fight.
After John stood up to the youths, They targeted him with a campaign of abuse, culminating in throwing stones as he was walking his dog Harry.
Bank holiday Monday, they decided to chuck stones at us. And then he was challenging us to a fight again.
Believing things had gone too far, he called the police, and one of the 13-year-olds was arrested on the spot. Today, PC Neil Cutter is visiting John to find out what's been going on.
They've been riding past the house, chucking stones at the window.
We've had issues in the past because you've got a footpath here and you've got basically no walls or fences around the garden. You can run down and bang on windows.
Worried about his safety, John's installed CCTV. Neil has come to take a look at footage that John says shows the two teens harassing him outside his home.
So you've got some cameras installed just to keep an eye.
I just wanted them to stop and just go away from here because they're just a nightmare. Take the dog out, just mind my own business. I looked over there, saw them, thought, oh, here we go.
Trying to divert them from messing about, so here they are. So you see the two of them cycle across.
Yeah, you can see his arm up there, watch. There you go. Took the stone off the window.
Two of them cycle past.
There you go.
So a lot of the times in cases like this, obviously people report stones being thrown off windows and stuff like that, and you can only take their word for it, but in this case obviously it's on the footage. You can see it's pretty clear that they both cycle past then a stone, and it's good that we've got something that captures the event and we know exactly what's going on, and we can, should we need to, we can go back to the offenders and say, look, we've got this on CCTV, we know what you're doing.
With the antisocial behaviour caught on CCTV, Neil visits the boy that wasn't arrested. With him is Delia Priest, a neighbourhood enforcement officer from a local housing group. The 13-year-old lives with his mum in a housing association property. In order to stay there, they both have to agree to a strict set of rules. Excluded from school, the teen's recent behaviour may have breached the code.
I need to speak to you about an incident what happened on the bank holiday Monday, just gone. It's going to be an interview. I'm going to caution you. So on that bank holiday Monday, did you, along with your friend, throw stones towards and shout abuse to a guy called John who was walking his dog? Is that true?
Is that what happened? You did? Mm-hmm. Was it you? Yeah. Was it both? Yeah.
So why did you do that?
Hmm?
Why did you do that?
Because we rode our bike past. When we rode our bike past, that's when he came out with his dog.
So because he shouted at you, you retaliated and chucked stones towards him and shouted at him? Yeah? Is that right? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
You need to say yes or no.
Yeah.
The acceptable behavioural agreement is taken very seriously, and Delia reminds them both exactly what that means.
Now, when your mum lives in a Gentoo property, one of the conditions of her tenancy says you can live here as long as nobody living in this address behaves in a way that could cause nuisance to other people. We want you to understand how we expect you to behave. You agreed not to behave in that way, and so very quickly we're back here to say you've breached that agreement. We could take action against your mum to take your home from you because of the way that you behave. So personally, I don't think that you're being very fair to your mum here.
Neil and Delia have decided that the agreement needs to be updated with even stricter boundaries.
What we need to do is to stop you getting involved in this stuff, stop you getting into bother.
If things don't improve, they could lose the house. So far, it seems that the gravity of the situation is lost on the teen, who seems more interested in his phone.
What are you doing on your phone?
No,
He's always got it glued in his hand. Typical
I'm
teenager.
trying to speak to you though.
I'll post it in a second.
It's quite disrespectful, isn't it? I'm trying to be fair with you.
He's trying to be alright with you. You know that. Could be a lot worse. It could be putting you in handcuffs and carting you away.
Yeah.
You didn't care.
That's the attitude at the
Oh
minute.
well. We need to knock this on the head, don't we?
Yeah.
You getting into bother.
The last thing the neighbourhood team or housing association want to see is families out on the street. But they need to get across to the youngster that his behaviour needs to change.
And it's not about saying you can't go out, but you've got to choose who you hang about with, where you go, and what you get yourself involved in.
Basically, he's going to have to try and keep himself out of trouble and not associate with the kids that he's associating with, really, I think. Could lead to an eviction. I could get evicted from my house.
No, first I'd get locked up, you get more warnings and locked up again.
Yeah, but it could eventually lead to getting evicted from my house.
Right.
If it didn't, you know, if it continued, it could lead to an eviction.
No.
So yeah, it went quite well. I think obviously he was quite open to working with us. Young seemed a bit uninterested in what we had to say, but it's all about trying to get him on board and trying to make sure that he doesn't continue obviously behaving the way he has been, and that he understands that there's consequences for it, and that it might cost his mother her house.
Find out later if the boy turns up for his make or break meeting.
Most residents take great pride in their homes and surrounding streets, but if their neighbourhood comes under threat, they can find themselves at their wits' end. It's then that the neighbourhood teams have to act.
In Sunderland, a major part of the neighbourhood teams are the PCSOs. Embedded in their communities, these officers pound their beat, acting as the face of the force on the street and interacting with the public to address any concerns they might have. Today, PCSOs Mick and Andy are heading to a monthly residents' meeting at the British Legion.
Oh, shall I give you the breakdown of obviously the crimes, what's been happening in our area?
One of the most important tasks of neighbourhood policing is to keep residents up to date about issues in their area.
So I'll start off with obviously theft other. In March there was 3.
These meetings give local people an opportunity to discuss serious matters that affect their way of life.
Every house in the area gets a leaflet and an invitation to come and voice anything that they want to bring up relating to the area. They give you up-to-date information on any crimes in the area, what to look out for, any advice that you require, so they do a fine job.
No problem, thank you very much.
Nice to see you. Yeah.
And one meeting has alerted the team to an unsightly caravan parked at the end of a street. Mick and Andy are going to investigate. It's not hard to find.
Hello?
There doesn't appear to be anyone home, and the team have a quick look around. The surrounding area is strewn with rubbish. It's not strictly illegal to park a caravan on the road, but if it becomes an antisocial eyesore, then that's a different matter. Eventually, a man opens the door.
What's the crack with this, mate?
It's getting moved soon.
It's getting moved soon? How soon?
No.
So we haven't make a complaints, bud? Aye.
The man claims to have been thrown out by his family, and now his permanent residence is this caravan, which he shares with his girlfriend.
It's got off the gun, mate. Obviously, you know, what they say here, this is fly tipping at its best, you know, you'll be prosecuted for the fly tipping around.
Residents are angry that the mobile home has been there for more than a month, and his living area is far from tidy.
just done a check on this vehicle. It's got some intelligence and it's coming back to the gentleman in the caravan. From the looks of it, it looks as though they've probably been living inside both the caravan and the car from what I can see.
Andy and Mick must address the concerns of local residents, but are not unsympathetic to the man's predicament.
From what he's told us, I just think he's...
just a breakdown within relationships with his dad,
with his parent. So he's been put out of the house and this is where he's ended up living. I'll be honest, he says he's going to move in a couple of days, but the local residents have said it's been there for well over a month, 2 or 3 months possibly. Yeah. So, you know, 2 days could turn into 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years as far as we know. So the sooner we get shifted, the better.
The unsightly caravan will have to go, and Mick tells the man in no uncertain terms why.
You're in a residential area, you know. If it was anywhere else, like a field, stuff like that, then fair dues, you know, you're out the way. And you see where people's concerns are, though, can't you, Pete? It's not like, you know, you've got a decent little estate here, and then you've got these at the top of it, and they're looking up there and just saying this, mate, so... Alright.
Mick and Andy can't allow this antisocial situation to continue, but are willing to give the man time to sort himself out.
Couple of days, see what you can do. Alright.
They'll return soon to make sure both he and the mess he's made have gone. A week's passed since Mick and Andy visited the man. Today it's time to see if he's heeded their warnings and moved on.
At the minute we're going to revisit a caravan what's at an address at Harlow Street. It's just kind of been dumped there for about a month. Well, I say dumped, there's somebody actually living in it. So we're going to revisit that and obviously see if he's shifted today.
It's not good news. The caravan and car are still there. But now, it seems the man may have taken to living on the pavement.
I understand, you know, I know your dad's kick you out and stuff like that in the circumstances of what it is. But, you know, for us, we didn't know about the residents are going to kick off even more.
And we've had meetings on, residents meetings, to tell us about the caravan being parked there.
Any idea where you're going to be going? 1 or 2 places. It's not residential though, is it? No. Because if you're going to park this up in somewhere like residential like this, you're just going to get complaint after complaint.
The man says that a friend is coming today to help him move onto private land. Mick and PC Kevin Hood decide to extend his deadline until the end of the day.
If you're giving us your words gone next couple of hours, then fair dues. But I'd rather you move it your own accord than somebody come up and just tow it away and you'll have nowhere to live in. Alright? He has says today, obviously he's waiting for his friend coming round, obviously we're probably to tow bar in his vehicle so we can get it towed away. On the plus side, all the stuff that was up there, litter-wise, wood and everything else, it's all gone. So he has kept his word on that side of things, but as I say, rather than get the van took away and have him live nowhere, we'll give him that benefit of the doubt and say, you know, it'll be gone in 2 hours when his friend comes.
See later if the caravan dweller has met the deadline. Still to come on Neighbourhood Blues. There's a rude awakening for an antisocial teen.
Get your clothes on, do as you're told, get up.
Possible she's had a bit of a drink.
PCSOs take a walk in the park with a very drunk teenager.
And when we see her again, she might be a whole lot friendlier.
And the neighbourhood team are forced to keep the peace.
I smash it in like.
When residents go to walk.
Andrew, it's not worth it, man.
In the shadow of the Stadium of Light in North Sunderland, things are at a pivotal point. PC Neil Cutter has been working with a local housing association to try to curb an unruly youth's antisocial behaviour against local resident John. At midday today, the 13-year-old is due to come in with his mum for a make or break meeting. There's a lot at stake.
As part of your tenancy agreement, you sign to behave in a respectable way and not to cause antisocial behaviour.
So therefore, if you breach it, then they can kick you out of the house. The impression I get is that he hasn't had too much discipline in his life, so there doesn't seem to be any consequence to his actions. He can kind of do as he pleases. I think his mum has struggled with him since he was younger, and she seems to try and reward him so he won't misbehave.
On arrival at the Housing Association for crisis talks, Neil finds the boy's mum, but no sign of her son.
So where's at the moment?
He's in bed.
He's in bed.
Yeah. He's in my bed, actually.
Right.
Incredibly, the lad hasn't bothered to come in for this crucial interview.
Apparently last night, went to be out with his friends, sort of the early hours of the morning. So obviously he's very tired now, and he's in bed.
Mum seems to have lost control of her son. The Neighbourhood team will have to step in to help.
I'm not being funny, but you're struggling with him, aren't you?
Oh,
and I think
to admit it. He's sort of gone off the rails, and
he has gone off the rails. But when I
don't know how to get him back.
When I'm sitting with you and him, and I'm observing his behaviour, and it looks like he's running the show. You can't leave it any longer. We need to try and address it as soon as.
Obviously, I'm the one getting the consequences. Could end up getting thrown out eventually. I'm trying my best to do what I can to stop that happening.
Part of me does want to go up and drag him out of bed, because we've arranged for this interview to take place and he's not taking part. It potentially does give us the power to go and arrest him.
The team decide they will get the boy out of his bed. By getting the issue resolved today, they can start to improve things for everyone.
I think she's definitely frightened.
Yep.
And she can't do anything. She doesn't know how to start to deal with it.
Mum meets them at the address, and PC Sarah McLaren assures her that this is in the best interests of her son.
And how old's he? 13? And he's kind of dictating what he will and won't do, and life's not like that.
He has done for years.
But that still doesn't excuse how he's going on, does it?
He's upstairs if you want to.
Which bedroom's he in?
He's in my room.
Wake up, son. Never mind chucking the strap, right? Get your clothes on. Right, I'm not bothered, son. If we have to pick you up and take you out of the bed, we will, right? Sit up. Well, I'm not bothered. You do as you're told. Get up.
Sure, I will.
Right, well, get up. Will you get up? I'm going to sort this out now.
Come on then, get some clothes on. Let's get this sorted out. Harry, do you want some socks on or not? You alright?
When we were here yesterday, we said we need to tighten up on the conditions of your acceptable behaviour agreement.
It's time for Sarah to make sure the teen understands the stricter conditions.
Not to be part of any large group in any street which may have the potential to commit acts of antisocial behaviour. That's still the same, yeah? Not to create excessive noise or encourage others to do so, which may cause annoyance to neighbours. And the fifth one we're going to add is not to enter the area North Bank Court, Sunderland or surrounding streets. You go back with your mates and you breach it again and you've had your chance, son. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, can it be more plain, can I?
As well as restrictions for the boy, the team also offers support to his mum to help her deal with his behaviour.
You need to get yourself sorted out, right? And believe us, once you get yourself sorted out, everything will seem more manageable. It will.
A bit of a weight lifted, really, to be honest. Just hope things can get sorted, really. Obviously, police are trying to help, housing trying to help. You know, it's like I think that's what I was worried about. Fingers crossed, things start to get a little bit better or start to improve slightly. I think if that had just been me, it would have been probably a different story. Would have been a lot of shouting going on. Hopefully see if we can get some help to maybe understand the way it's going on isn't appropriate and isn't right. Maybe I'll get the little lad who I knew back.
Having admitted to antisocial behaviour, the lad now has to work with the youth offending team to hopefully get him back on the right track.
Means that we'll get him through the system, get him to youth offending, try and get him to change his behaviour and divert him from doing what he's doing, and hopefully should get a result. Sometimes it works. We've had a lot of positive results, but some kids it doesn't work, so we just need to keep trying.
With the situation on its way to being resolved, Neil goes back to John to update him on what action has been taken.
He's admitted to doing that. What we intend to do with him, he will be. It looks like he'll be getting a youth caution. Now, what that involves, he'll have an appointment with youth offending team, and they will speak with him to see if he's remorseful and what have you, and to look at ways that they can stop him from offending in the future. Try and divert his behaviour to something else, okay?
His friend is already being dealt with for his part in what happened to John.
And I know it's true, said he was dragging it all the way up.
So that's the pair of them are both going to be dealt with, okay? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's fine.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Great, well...
Oh, thank you, cheers.
It's a good result for the Neighbourhood team, and good news for this victim of antisocial behaviour.
I feel a lot better, but I'm hoping now it's sorted out and they won't bother us.
John now feels safe outside his home and can take Harry for his walk.
The most important thing is to try and keep them updated as to exactly what we're doing, so they know that the issues that they're having are getting dealt with and getting solved. Obviously give them some reassurance that we're dealing with it, and that hopefully there shouldn't be a reoccurrence of it.
In central Sunderland, PCSO Mick Lister has been listening to residents fed up with a man living in a run-down caravan outside their homes. Today, Mick is going to revisit the street, and he's hoping the man has heeded the team's warnings and moved on.
Let's see what... Oh, so there you have it. Bit of a turn of events, just pulled around the corner there, and obviously the caravan's been moved. Obviously he's kept his word. Obviously he was coming up and down. Obviously last night obviously played a part in it. Car, caravan, trailer and rubbish, everything gone. Good result for us. I'm sure the neighbours are going to be well impressed with that. It all depends where he's put it now, but hopefully it's not anywhere where we patrol, to be honest, or there'll be more complaints. But end of the day, it's paid off. Obviously coming up last night and keeping on his case has done the trick.
So far, so good. Mick can only hope that the caravan is now well away from the residents who found it a blot on their otherwise pleasant landscape. It's not long, however, before there are new reports of a caravan appearing behind their homes. Andy Carr and Kirsty Pitchford go to investigate. Perhaps unsurprisingly, it's the same caravan. The man and his girlfriend are home.
Hello? Can you come to the fence? Can you come to the gate? Just tell them to come to the gate. Alright.
What's up?
We're just wondering how you managed to get the caravan in here.
What, if the lad who owns it?
And has he give you permission to put it on here?
Yes. I'm watching the place, man.
Oh, yeah?
It appears the caravan is on private land, but as the man can't remember the name of the landowner, Andy has his suspicions.
So how are you getting in and out of here then?
Keys.
I know, but it's locked. It's locked in. It's locked at the minute.
I know, but keys inside.
Have you? I believe you. All I'm thinking is if you had some bull crops,
no,
what's to stop you from cutting the old ones off and then putting your new ones on there?
If he's there legally, then the man has done what's asked of him. But Andy and Kirsty are not convinced that he and his girlfriend won't upset a new set of neighbours on their new pitch.
Because you're locked in here now.
And right on cue, two angry residents make their feelings known.
Johnny?
You?
Eh? What are you talking
Who's crackers?
What are you talking to me like? I thought you'd been here for 4 years, man.
This says crackers. How am I crackers?
Well, yeah, you crack. Well, because you're living here.
And?
We live here, man.
And? I've got
And
permission
what?
to be here.
What?
I've got permission to be here.
I know you have.
Well,
I've phoned them
Legal
up.
permission.
Aye, well.
It's not a residence property.
Doesn't have to be. It's a private land.
It's not. It
It is
shouldn't be
private
there.
Legally on the land or not, the residents have bigger concerns.
Well, you can see,
I'd always get one. Would you like to live somewhere where people were like flipping leaving cans and all over where you live?
And we left them.
Yes, you did, because you were mortal. And it was cans and you watched him pick it up. You were. So don't stand there lying, because I've got you on the phone as well.
And it's not only rubbish that the couple have been allegedly dumping. Without adequate facilities, the woman claims the couple have been using an alleyway as a toilet.
Piddling and crapping on the pavement, man. It's absolutely
It's disgusting, it is, yeah. They are residents who live here, who've got a property. So you can imagine, she said they've got the house up for sale now because it's just got so bad.
The two residents are getting angrier and angrier. Kirsty and Andy are forced to keep the peace.
No, I'll sort it out with you if you want. Sort it out with you if you want.
Do not dare.
You're on this.
What you dare. What you dare.
You're on this.
What you dare.
All right, just there, both of us. All right, well.
It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it.
You don't bother me, you want. Going out against you.
Don't
trying to sell our kit, man. He shouldn't be here.
What I'm saying
And look, I am to upset you. Obviously, I didn't mean it, right? And I'm going to plans over here forever, you know?
don't antagonise.
I mean,
right?
Will,
what?
I'll smash your head in like. You're
It's
not going to
not
get me.
worth
You're
it,
not going to
man.
get lose my house. I'm telling you.
Luckily, there's a metal fence between them, but it won't save the man from a telling off from Kirsty.
Well, do you know something? I wouldn't be very happy if you
Well,
moved
obviously,
in
I
opposite
didn't
my
upset
house.
them.
When
You know
people
what I
have
mean?
bought a
Obviously, I
house and they've got
apologise
you pooing and
I mean?
weeing in the back lane. It's not worth it.
Coming home from work.
That's not the
It's
kind of people you want
ridiculous.
living opposite your house either, is it? Right.
Please don't do anything silly, mate.
It's not. He's not worth it.
No.
Not worth
It's not worth getting in trouble for, mate.
With the argument diffused, Kirsty reflects on the residents' predicament.
Well, I just think that the people who live there are just absolutely fed up by what she's saying. He's just moved on with his caravan, but for 3 nights he's been sleeping in the car outside, chucking all his cans out and leaving his feces and urine on the street. It's just disgusting.
The neighbourhood team have done everything they can, but will now find out who owns the land and hope they can find a peaceful resolution for everyone. It turned out the man was given permission to be on the land, but after the aggravation he'd caused the local residents, he was asked to leave and finally moved well away from the area. Antisocial behaviour is not just confined to the cities. Washington, a new town south of Newcastle, struggles with bored youngsters who congregate in public places and sometimes cause disorder. It's a bank holiday, and residents are fed up with youths drinking in the local park. PCSO's Paul Dart and Stephen Dixon are heading down to investigate.
So as I was saying, we're approaching the issue where we've had some report of youths causing problems. But basically they're saying that up here there's meant to be groups of kids drinking, large groups of kids on the field, so we're going to approach and see what we find. Basically this is a normal youth hotspot, as it were. A group of kids tend to drink on the fields to your right and your left of where we're going. So we'll see what we get when we get there.
When they enter the clearing, they spot up to 50 youths who immediately scatter.
Here's quite a large group of kids. Them running off and the shouting makes you think that they're basically up to no good. We're not going to get close to them. What tends to happen is they tend to run off from us because because they don't want to be caught with whatever they've got on them, basically, are taken home, or the parents, they tend to get logged for them as well.
The difficulty is that the public perception is obviously it's quite intimidating. So what we'll obviously say is people should report those issues to police, because you as a dog walker wouldn't potentially want to walk past a big group who are shouting abuse, drinking alcohol.
The PCSOs regularly deal with underage drinkers, and although they don't have powers of arrest, they can remove alcohol and disperse anyone acting in an antisocial manner.
Yes, that's received LP. We're on scene. We'll come onto the field. Must have been about 40, 50 of them ran off in that direction. We're going to be chasing them around all night by the looks of it.
When underage kids drink alcohol, it can sometimes fuel antisocial behaviour.
Our fear is obviously a large group like that, it's the mass disorder as a fallout of it. So, you know, damage to windows, abuse to other residents, noise disturbance, etc. So it's within our best intentions to try and stop the group, take the alcohol off them and disperse them on from the area in a smaller group.
Further up the road, some youths have been stopped, and the police are using special alcohol detecting strips to test their drinks. It's not uncommon for underage drinkers to mix spirits with soft drinks to try and avoid detection.
Yeah, it's a simple dip strip, and it detects if there's a presence of alcohol. If there is, it'll go blue, and at the minute, we've got to go with that one. That's fine, that one, yeah.
The test proves negative, and the group go on their way. Back at the field, Darty and Steve are struggling to catch the youths on foot.
So the tactical plan is what we're just discussing here. If we're hanging around, they're going to come back on. So if we pull away, we'll come back in 10 minutes to see if we can catch any of them.
But it seems some of the gang have come to them.
All right. He was rejoining the gang over there.
As they pass, one of the girls says something highly offensive.
Excuse me, come here.
No.
Yeah, you come here.
Less the mouth.
Sorry.
What's your name? What?
I think it's had a bit of a drink.
No, I haven't.
Well, unfortunately, you're not focusing on me very well at the minute, are you?
She appears drunk and is less than responsive. Unhappy at being stopped, she attempts to flee.
Wait.
Excuse me?
Get off us now. Right, get off us, I'm sorry.
No. Calm yourself down.
Right, okay.
Calm yourself down.
The PCSOs need to speak to her about her behaviour.
Well, talk to her.
Right, please
Right.
get off us.
Listen.
I haven't been with them. Why are you telling me off? I'm sorry.
Well, what have you just done?
Well, I swore you, but I really didn't mean it.
Then what did you try and do?
Ran away because you...
Correct.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So tell my colleague
Alright.
your address.
27 Avenue Drive.
Thank you.
Avenue Drive in Washington.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
They're not convinced she's telling the truth, and as she's drunk and has been abusive, they decide the best course of action is to take her home and speak to her parents.
Right, we're going to establish this when I take you home, and we're going to have a conversation with your parents. So you might as well not wait for her, because she's coming with us.
No one's answering the phone.
Go away.
I'm not going to do anything. You're scaring us. Get off.
Right, just stand still.
Well, you need to calm down. You need to calm down.
Get off us. I'm not going to do
Sworn.
anything.
I'm now taking
Stand
hold of your
still.
arm because I believe
Right.
you're going to try and run.
I'm not.
No.
You can come with us.
Do us a
You can come
favour.
with us,
Go and
please.
find your
Will you
mates.
please
Come on
listen?
then.
I'll swear down I'll
Come on
come.
then. Come
Will you
on.
let
We're
go?
going that way.
The girl can't believe that she'll have to face the music for her behaviour.
Possible she's had a bit of a drink.
Right,
Come on then.
please let go.
Get in.
Right, I am.
As you can see, first year back from an attachment and we get a drunk youth who we have to take home. She swore at us initially, wouldn't say an out, we then approached her. She then turned round and tried to make off. My colleagues take her home to our parents, and when we see her again, she might be a whole lot friendlier.
The neighbourhood teams believe that one of the best ways to deal with antisocial behaviour is to involve the parents whenever possible.
A lot of what we do over as neighbourhood teams work is educational. As long as a crime hasn't been committed that they have to answer for or have to be spoken to by a PC, we'll take them home. We'll try and educate the parents if necessary to what they've been doing. In a lot of cases, parents haven't a clue what the kids are up to these days.
When Darty catches up with Steve, it seems the short, sharp shock of being taken home may well have worked.
The mum and dad were both present. To say shocked at their daughter's behaviour was a slight understatement. Daughter initially continued to deny behaving in such a manner, however, saw the error of our ways and then apologised to officers for our behaviour. Mum and dad are very thankful and supportive of the fact that she was taken home and have stated that, you know, due to her behaviour, she won't be back out on the street for a foreseeable future.
We've seen today how gaining respect isn't always easy for police officers. Thankfully, the neighbourhood teams won't give up on building relationships, because that's what good policing is all about. See you soon.
Chào tôi Hồng, đã quay trở lại với kênh ngôi trường của mình. Hôm nay mình cùng mình hoàn thành bức tranh chiếc mũ màu trắng, thì mình sẽ cũng bức tranh này nhé. Tươi sáng. đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh, cảm ơn theo dõi hết video của mình.